thought Honduras was just blue seas and beautiful islands? Think again. This is a country where fish rain from the sky every year. A useless bridge stands alone because the river changed course. There are markets where people swap wives, the world's most dangerous airport, an island where men don't dare argue with women, a law banning two men from riding the same motorcycle, and the world's second largest coral reef, with a $3,000 fine if you touch it. Ready to count down 15 strange and taboo things that will blow your mind? Stick around to see which one tops the list. Number 15. The country that once lost its name. If you think naming a country is a serious and straightforward affair, congratulations, you've never lived in 19th century Honduras. There was a time when this country had a name so long that even the United Nations got it wrong. República de Honduras y Nueva Segovia, like the title of a never-ending historical drama. After splitting from the Central American Federation, Honduras didn't just want to be independent. It wanted to highlight the ancient region of Segovia by sticking it onto the country's name. The problem? Foreigners couldn't pronounce it, remember it, or even understand it. Some diplomatic documents called it Nueva Honduras, others abbreviated it as HNS, and international conferences had no clue which version to use. At one point, the United Nations even printed the wrong name for Honduras in official documents, forcing Honduran delegates to reintroduce themselves at every meeting. Imagine showing up to a conference with a name tag so long that people just ask, "Is this Honduras or a brand new federation?" Eventually, Honduras did what many countries have done, shortened its name to survive on the world map, giving birth to the much simpler and easier to remember República de Honduras. Number 14. The annual fish rain. Imagine walking down a damp little street in the town of Yoro, Honduras, the air thick with the scent of rain and earth. Suddenly you freeze. At your feet, not puddles, but hundreds of little fish flopping around on the road. That's right, this is the fish rain, a bizarre phenomenon that happens every year in Yoro, a mountain town about 45 miles from the Caribbean coast, where, logically, sea fish shouldn't just fall from the sky. Reports say it happens at least once to 3 times a year, usually between May and July, right in the middle of the rainy season. Fish are scattered all over the streets, in front of houses, even in vegetable gardens, as if someone dumped them from an invisible plane. In a rare event in 1970, a National Geographic team happened to be present during the phenomenon. They didn't see fish falling from the sky, but they did confirm the ground was covered in small, lively freshwater fish, not native to the area. Some scientists think the fish live in underground rivers or caves and get washed up when floodwaters rise after storms. But there's no concrete proof. Another theory is that tornadoes suck up fish from faraway waters and drop them over the town. But how could that happen so far inland? Interestingly, animal rain has been recorded elsewhere. Frogs in Australia and China, small crabs in Mexico, but only in Yoro. Honduras does it rain fish every single year. It's so unique that the town holds a Festival de la Lluvia de Peces, complete with parades, fried fish, and collective prayers, a blend of science, faith, legend, and community tourism. Locals don't care about scientific explanations. They collect the fish, share them with neighbors, fry up baleada fish, give thanks, and welcome visitors from all over the world to witness the miracle. Number 13. The world's strangest wife-swapping market. Believe it or not, in a remote mountain corner of northwest Honduras, where mossy clay roofs and dusty roads smell of roasted corn, marriage isn't sacred. It's a marketplace, a wife-swapping market. Yes, you heard right. In this village, men can bring their wives to the market to auction them off or swap them with someone else, like trading chickens or old raincoats. Sometimes the women are actual wives. Other times, they've already been traded in previous markets and are now valued in sacks of rice, goats, or even an old radio. Many kids here grow up not knowing who their biological mother is because the marriage market happens as regularly as the corn harvest. This custom is believed to date back to the post-Maya era, when women had no property rights and wife swapping was a way to transfer assets. A 1998 ethnographic study by the National Autonomous University of Honduras found that 27% of men in mountain villages admitted to swapping wives at least once in their lives. The Honduran government has tried to stamp out this practice. In 2007, they banned giving kids weird names like Clinton, Car Tire, or Thank God, and restricted wife swapping to organized markets only 3 times a year. If you've ever wondered why Honduras has one of the highest rates of unregistered marriages in Central America, this might be the bluntest answer. If you lived somewhere your spouse could be traded, like a collectible stamp, how would you react? Comment your thoughts below. And if you've heard of any other bizarre customs around the world, share them and shock us all. Number 12. Don't fly into the world's most dangerous airport. If you're planning a trip to Honduras or just curious about the country's best airport, think twice before landing at Toncontín Airport, one of the most dangerous airports in the world. Right in the middle of the capital, Tegucigalpa, this airport is surrounded by high mountains and dense city. Pilots have to make a sharp 45-degree turn right before landing, something not everyone can pull off. More importantly, the runway is only about 7,100 feet long, while LAX in Los Angeles has a runway nearly twice as long. Despite the short runway, big planes like the Boeing 757 still have to land here. Because of the risky terrain, many planes haven't landed successfully. For example, in 2008, Ithaca Airlines Airbus A320 slid off the runway and crashed onto the highway outside the airport. And that's not a rare incident. That's why, after every flight landing here, you'll hear a burst of applause from passengers and even the flight crew. And when you step off the plane, you might get a heartfelt greeting. Congratulations, you landed safely in Honduras. For a less risky flight, consider Palmarola International Airport, XPL, 47 miles from Tegucigalpa. A much safer, more modern choice. Number 11. 2 men on a motorcycle? Illegal in many cities. It sounds odd, but in major Honduran cities like Tegucigalpa, San Pedro Sula, or Choloma, 2 men riding the same motorcycle can get you pulled over by the police right away. Not because of overloading, but because it's a strict security measure against drive-by shootings. In Honduras, motorcycle hitmen are a real thing and have terrorized the country for over a decade. Assassins usually work in pairs. One drives, one shoots, and it all happens in seconds on a busy street. That's why the Dos Hombres en Moto law is enforced, to nip crime in the bud. This law usually applies only in Zona Roja, or high-violence areas. However, male tourists riding together in these places can still be stopped, have their papers checked, or get fined. The funny part, 2 women riding together is fine. A man with his girlfriend is okay. But 2 men, even father and son, best friends or co-workers, can get flagged. Number 10. The island. Where men don't argue with women. On the Caribbean coast of Honduras, hidden among gentle waves and the deep drumbeats of the Garifuna people, there are communities where, if you're a man, you'd better not argue with women. Not because of the law, but because of an unwritten rule that's lasted for centuries. Men don't raise their voice to women, especially wives, mothers, or the elders. In Garifuna life, women aren't just mothers. They're landholders, lineage keepers, and power holders. They're the final decision makers about where the kids go to school, whether the house gets sold, and even whether the husband can invite relatives over for the holidays. Men here still fish, work, and have an afternoon drink. But when they step over the threshold, they know one thing: staying silent isn't weakness, it's spiritual respect. In ancestral rituals like Dugu, if a man interrupts a female elder, he's asked to leave the circle and is considered unblessed. Tourists who visited say it feels like stepping into a world where women hold the pen that writes the rules. So if you see a Garifuna husband quietly nodding as his wife scolds him at the market, don't laugh. He's not afraid. He's honoring the generations behind her. Number 9. The world's most useless bridge. In Choluteca, southern Honduras, there's a bridge famous not for its beauty or modern design, but because it leads nowhere. The Puente Sol Nacimiento, locals jokingly call it the world's most useless bridge. was once a national pride, but now it's a living symbol of being out of sync with the times. Opened in 1998 and designed by Japanese engineers to withstand Central America's fierce storms, it stood strong until Hurricane Mitch, one of the most destructive storms of the 20th century, hit Honduras a few months later. Over 75 inches of rain in 4 days caused the Choluteca River to change course. The river didn't destroy the bridge, it just moved somewhere else. The result? The bridge still stands, majestic, but now spans a dry field. It sounds like a joke, but over 20,000 people in Central America were severely affected. In that tragedy, the bridge stood alone, a monument to irony, built to survive every storm, but now with no river to cross. Today, the Choluteca Bridge is a classic case study in strategy classes, teaching the timeless lesson: don't build something so strong that it can't adapt to change. The modern saying was born here: don't be the Choluteca Bridge, be relevant with time. What do you think? If you ever find yourself tough as steel, but out of place in a changing world, are you just standing in the middle of a dry river? Leave a comment below, and remember, in times of change, flexibility is strength. Number 8. Don't go barefoot in a Honduran home. If you're used to going barefoot to relax, connect with nature, or just to cool off, here's a warning. Don't try that when entering a Honduran home, whether in the city or countryside. In their culture, going barefoot into someone's house is extremely disrespectful, like showing up and saying you don't respect the host. Unlike some cultures where removing shoes is a sign of cleanliness, in Honduras, especially in conservative rural areas, bare feet are linked to poverty, laziness, or even rudeness. Many still believe your bare feet don't just bring in dirt, they bring in your attitude. Some families even put up a sign at the door: Por favor, no entre descalzo. Please don't enter barefoot. The funny thing is, Honduras has a hot, humid tropical climate, perfect for going barefoot. Yet their culture says the opposite. Here, respect and neatness start from your feet, not your words. Number 7. The only Central American country with 5 ecological zones. Think a small Central American country can't be special? Imagine a place where you start your morning in a misty cloud forest, have lunch on a chilly mountain peak, and end your afternoon paddling through tropical swamps. Welcome to Honduras, the only country in Central America with 5 different ecological zones. From coastal plains, dense rainforests, limestone highlands, misty cloud forests, to coastal mangrove swamps, Honduras's ecosystems stretch from sea level to nearly 10,000 feet. Cusco National Park, famous for its rare cloud forests, is where you might spot glowing frogs at night, a scene straight out of a sci-fi movie. The Mesquitia wetlands in the east are called a mini Amazon, home to indigenous people still living apart from the modern world. This amazing diversity makes Honduras a biological paradise. According to the Honduran Ministry of Environment, the country is home to over 700 bird species, 250 reptiles, and hundreds of unique plants, many found nowhere else on Earth. So do you believe that in one small country you can go from cloud-covered mountaintops to wild swamplands in just 2 days by Jeep? Leave a comment if you'd like to try a trip like that. Number 6. Honduras will leave you lost like hide and seek. You can prepare everything before coming to Honduras: mosquito repellent, cash, a Spanish translation app. But there's one thing no one warns you about. Addresses here are nothing like what you're used to. In the United States or Europe, you expect something like 9360 Main Street, apartment 203. In Honduras, forget it. They don't use house numbers and street names. Instead, you'll hear directions like, I'm between Martin Luther King and Columbus Boulevard. If you're unlucky and there's no landmark, good luck. Giving your address to a Grab or taxi driver here is like solving a puzzle. You might get dropped off 1 or 2 blocks away. Doesn't sound scary? Imagine you're carrying your suitcase, passport, and money, standing on a strange street with no idea which way to go. One lost minute in Honduras can feel like an hour of anxiety. Google Maps isn't much help either. Many addresses show up as codes like 3RW5 and 6VM, or QMQ4 and 638. That's a neighborhood name plus coordinates, not a real address. Locals or the post office might get it, but for foreigners, it's a mess. If you're just vacationing on Roatán or the Bay Islands, resorts handle everything. But if you're renting an apartment in Tegucigalpa or San Pedro Sula, be ready. Honest tip: save GPS coordinates, take a photo of the house, ask the neighbors, and double-check with your host. Number 5. Don't touch, step on, or break coral at the Belize Roatán Reef. You think a vacation on Roatán Island, Honduras, is paradise? Crystal clear water, golden sunshine, and colorful coral reefs? It is, until you accidentally kick a coral and get slapped with a $3,000 fine. That's right, Honduras doesn't mess around when it comes to protecting nature, especially the Mesoamerican reef, one of the last biological treasures in the Western Hemisphere. This reef stretches about 700 miles across 4 countries: Mexico, Belize, Guatemala, and Honduras. It's the world's second largest coral reef after Australia's Great Barrier Reef. Around Roatán, the diver's paradise, live over 500 fish species, 65 types of coral, sea turtles, manatees, even whale sharks. Here's the amazing part. A single coral branch grows only about 0.1 to 2 inches per year. That means a large patch of coral could have taken centuries to grow before you accidentally step on it. So the law is clear. No touching, no standing, no swimming too close, and absolutely no picking live shells. If you break the rules, even by accident, you could face a fine of up to $3,000 and get kicked out of the country. Number 3. The strange bagged water culture. If you visit Honduras and get thirsty, don't be surprised if the vendor hands you not a plastic bottle or soda can, but a tiny plastic bag full of water called a bolsita. This is a super common and, to many visitors, strange way to drink water. These bags usually hold about 13 to 20 ounces sealed at both ends. How do you drink it? Bite off a corner and suck on it like a baby bottle. Weird, but actually convenient and cheap. Just 3 to 5 lempiras, less than 20 cents. Why bags? In many parts of Honduras, tap water isn't safe to drink. People, especially the working class, choose bolsitas as a quick, affordable solution. Some factories even UV filter the water before bagging it. In offices and city homes, clean water is usually stored in big 5-gallon jugs, just like in American companies. But there's a downside. Non-biodegradable plastic bags are an environmental worry. Some organizations in Honduras are pushing for biodegradable bags or encouraging reusable bottles. Number 2. Hungu Hungu, the dance men can't join. On the Caribbean coast of Honduras, where the Garifuna people live, there's a mysterious sacred dance that men are forbidden to join. Hungu Hungu. This isn't a tourist show or entertainment, but a spiritual ritual in the Dugu ceremony, where Garifuna women use dance to communicate with ancestors and pass messages from the spirit world. Hungu Hungu is performed in clouds of incense, with deep drum beats echoing as mothers, aunts, and female elders sway their hips in hypnotic rhythm. The movements are repetitive, not flashy, but powerful, like their bodies become a channel between the living and the spirit world. Men aren't allowed to dance Hungu Hungu. They can stand outside the circle, help with music or logistics, but never step into the center. In Garifuna belief, this is women's space, where only women who give birth and keep the ancestral bloodline have the spiritual power to call spirits, make peace, or seek guidance from those who've passed on. Hungu Hungu is a clear sign of the quiet but powerful matriarchal society among the Garifuna, where women don't just keep the home and raise kids, they keep the gate between past and present. Number 1. Don't badmouth Honduran soccer. In Honduras, soccer isn't just a sport, it's a religion, a national pride, the lifeblood of its people. The national team, La H, is a symbol of unity and patriotism. And remember this, never, not even as a joke, insult the Honduran team, especially in a crowded bar or a roadside cafe. You might think comparing Honduras to the United States, Mexico, or Costa Rica is no big deal. Here it can be seen as an insult to national honor. There have been heated arguments, even fights, because a tourist casually said, Honduras can't beat Mexico. Too sensitive? Not at all. In a survey by La Prensa, over 70% of Hondurans said soccer is what most strongly connects them to their country, more than religion or politics. Especially during the World Cup or CONCACAF qualifiers, the atmosphere is on fire, and every Honduran win is a national holiday. Kids wear the national jersey to school, adults put flags on their cars, and whole neighborhoods throw parties when the team scores. We've just taken a tour through the weird rules, strange taboos, and laws in Honduras that sound like jokes but are very real. Which one shocked you the most? Have you ever broken a rule somewhere without even knowing it? If you love discovering odd cultures, unwritten rules, and unbelievable facts from around the world, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video.